I'm stepping up with my girl Cherelle of Steppers UK, who supports Black, Asian, and ethnic diverse communities. Ethnically diverse communities. We decided to meet at Terrace Garden near Richmond Park, which provides a lovely walkway with views of the River Thames, vast space with trees and surrounding nature. I wanted to find out the story behind how this organization discovered the health benefits and stunning adventures through their many heights from an ethnic perspective and experience. Can you tell me a bit about Steppers UK and how it started?
Sure. So Steppers UK started last year. In fact, it's a year today since we did our very first walk. And obviously we're in the middle of a lockdown. I just felt like everywhere was closed, but I was always a person that was out adventuring, and I thought what an opportunity to kind of get other people out. And I've always been an adventurous person, but I always noticed that, there would rarely be lots of people of colour that were outside exploring. At the time, I was already leading walks for Black Girls Hike and often adventuring with some of my friends. So I thought, you know what, let me start a walking group. And, being in lockdown, it was even more of an important time to, I guess, get people to start using the outdoors as therapy and, just exploring the benefits of nature.
Thank you for sharing that. So when you was younger, right, was you into outdoors like to this extent?
So, no is the short answer. But at school, I did have experiences of, going on residential trips, which I really loved. And I always talk a lot about Rastafarianism because I feel like growing up, I was listening to a lot of reggae music, and as I got older, I started exploring my culture, my Jamaican heritage a little bit more. And I always say that exploring a lot about, that way of life opened up a new level of consciousness to me. And I started just, thinking more about the world, nature, how I eat, that kind of thing. And then I invested in an allotment, so that was my kind of first, I can grow food, that kind of vibe. And then I just started loving nature, and then, a few years later, Miss Green Fingers loves to get outdoors and just be in nature. It gives me a level of peace that I think we need in this world. Everything's so fast-paced all the time. Got to find a way to just detach, and the outdoors does that for me.
Definitely, I feel that as well.
Yeah.
And exactly what you said, I'm also now learning about foraging more and stuff as well, and things that are outside and it's free to eat.
Yeah.
Even we don't even know, some free food out here.
Big money.
Bro, that looks nice.
Oh, views.
Yeah, right. But do you feel like with the BAME community, as you said earlier, there's not a lot of groups and stuff for us, if you say that. But do you feel like it's changing? Do you feel like it's changing now?
It's definitely changing. For us, I feel like this is not anything new. This is a reconnecting process for me, because I always talk about, our ancestors and, backgrounds that we're from, African, Caribbean, Indian communities. If you go back home, nature is central to way of life. You're growing food, you're picking food, you're walking through blue mountains, this kind of thing. So it's not anything that's new, but what's happened is we've come over to places like the UK. We're living in cities now. When my grandparents would have came over, it's I guess it's not a priority to be going countryside.
Yeah.
You come over, you're experiencing hostility in the city. The last thing you're going to want to do is go countryside. So I feel like there's been a generational barrier, but I think it's changing definitely. I love being on Instagram now. You see a new group pop up here and there, and I just think it just shows that it's working. And I do think the rise of the BLM movement last year put a renewed focus on racial injustice, and that's encouraged more people to be like, you know what, I need to take up space, rightfully space that is ours. The outdoors is for everyone. So that's definitely, I guess, made the process a little bit faster, but it's definitely changing and it's exciting.
Yeah, I feel that as well. I noticed that as well. Even me, I've seen so many different people and groups on Instagram that I never I didn't even know about this outdoor world and the people are in it. And when I started coming across you, Rianne, and all these people, I was like, rah!
It's really amazing, and it just shows the power of social media, that all you've got to do is hashtag Black Girls Hike, hashtag outdoors, diversity outdoors, and you come across so many amazing people. And I think that's what it has to be. It has to be a process, because like for me, I was outdoors exploring, and it does feel a bit lonely sometimes, because you feel like, am I the only black woman that's doing this thing? Surely not. Then you hashtag Black Girls Hike, and I'll come across Black Girls Hike and Rianne, and I'm like, oh my God. And then I start Steppers UK, and then other people from Steppers UK have started their own thing, and people are getting their families and stuff out just from coming to a group like Steppers, for example. And I feel like it's a domino effect, and it has to be like that, because we're all out here inspiring each other. So it's really exciting.
I feel that. Do you feel like when you've been out on walks and stuff, have you come across like any like challenges, or mentally or physically?
Yeah, a few times. Like for me, I'm like, the outdoors can be used in so many different ways. Like as long as you're not, you know, disturbing people, there's not one way to use the outdoors. So there's been times that I've like sat down in like an empty field, and I might have my little music on, not loud, not disturbing anybody, and people have walked past, and like, you could just tell, innit, screw face, like, how dare she come into our outdoors and play her ragamuffin music. But sometimes I've been met with that energy, and when I've been out with groups, there's definitely been a few issues, and you know, I just feel like there's some people out there that are uncomfortable with black and brown people in the outdoors. That's the reality of it. And you're online and you see people going the extra mile to make black and Asian people feel really uncomfortable. You might have heard of recently some guys climbed up Ben Nevis with a White Lives Matter banner, and it just shows how insidious and ingrained like hostility and racism is. So you can be met with those kind of things outdoors, but for me, I try not to focus on those things too much, and for me the community is the central to what I'm trying to do. So I guess sometimes I've got to just have, you know, my blinkers on and just focus on the community, and not just be distracted by the racism and kind of things that are taking place to kind of distract you from the main like message.
Yeah, that's deep, man, because I know just generally like walking around the microaggressions, and institutionally I've faced a lot of that racism through school and stuff like that. So even coming into this world, I was shocked at how big it was, first of all. But then another thing I noticed was exactly what you're saying. It's like exclusive and like only for whites, but then thankfully I came across people like you and Rianne, and it kind of brought that kind of hope as well for that. And like what you said already, in the sense of it's us reconnecting with what we've always had. Because when we look at us like at home in our countries, there's no like,
oh, I'm walking around barefoot, like,
you know what I'm saying? We're eating our food out of our garden, and we're just chilling, and even the goats are walking with us,
and it's nothing, isn't it? It's just normal. I think, you know, I think we shouldn't get like blinded by seeing so many of these things happening. It's great, but you know, there's still a lot of work to do. I think there's work to be done from both sides, the outdoor industry itself, but also our own communities, because you know, I was brought up not knowing much about the outdoors and thinking, oh, it's a white people's activity, and that's far from the truth. So this is why groups like Steppers exist, to encourage more people from our communities, because sadly we've been conditioned to believe that we shouldn't go camping, black people don't swim, we don't want to get our hair wet, like living life in the rain at the minute, like these things like have just conditioned us. And actually I feel like, you know, during the lockdown specifically, it's been hard for everybody, but I think for people of colour in particular, there's been a lot of things that have taken place that have made the past year, 18 months harder for us. So I feel like connecting with nature is something that we really need.
Tell me a bit about your mission to get to the 46.
So this is a really interesting and funny story. I was actually sitting on Google Maps, like this is before I knew anything about like OS maps and all these outdoor fancy things. Like I used to go outdoors and just browse Google Maps and get lost all the time, obviously, because it doesn't show you all the public paths. But I was browsing Google Maps anyway one day, and I was zooming in, and I kept seeing like all these locations, and it just said AOMB Cotswolds, AOMB Shropshire Hills, and I was like, what's AOMB mean? I ain't got a clue. Did the Googles, and it was like areas of outstanding natural beauty, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Then found out that there were 46, and straight away I was like, oh, I'm just going to go to all of them. That's how casually I said it to myself, because I thought, why not?
Yeah.
So I started just going to a few. I think I must have went to like 7 or something. This was about 4 years ago, you know. And then, so when I started Steppers last year, I thought, oh wow, what a great opportunity to get people out, and it's a bit, you know, adventurous. One of the things I love about it is that there's so much variety between the AOMBs. You've got some that are coastal, you've got some that are, you know, woodland areas, lowland areas. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do that as a challenge, to get people out. But I also think it's important to find the type of nature that you like, because you might be the type of person where you're like, you know what, forest is for me, like, I want to connect with the trees, I want to hug trees. Or you might be a type of person that, you know what, being by water is something that I enjoy. It's something I like, I find it really calming. So it's not just about going out in nature, it's actually about exploring the types that you really connect with. So that's my kind of aim for the AOMBs. We've only done 4 so far out of 46, so
That's fine. That's big anyway.
Yeah, it
like
is
46, like rah. But I feel like also I've heard about trig bagging.
yeah.
And I didn't know what that was until I searched it as well. I was like, what's that? Like, what's that about? And then I saw that it's like a thing now as well, that people
go around.
Yeah, people go around
yeah.
bagging trigs, and I was like, rah.
There's a girl that attends Steppers and she loves trigs and she's doing it now. It started off as a really casual thing, taking photos on trigs and stuff like that, and now it's something that she's doing as a hobby.
Yeah, no, I was even like, rah, because when I searched it, it said that trigs were originally just like landmarks to like mark that this is where this is kind of thing. And then like people started bagging trigs, and then it came like a trend kind of thing, and now it's more of a trend than it is like a landmark.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, even I'm trying to bag some trigs.
Get them in.
Yeah, but you see, like when you're out on walks as well, what kind of food do you like to eat?
Oh, me, I will carry a patty to the top of the mountain. It's not really taking up space. Like, I am trying to get in. Like, I'm a massive eater. Like, eating is just a standard for me. Like, as I'm walking, I'm eating. But yeah, I love a flapjack. I love a patty. I heat it up before I leave my house. Get some foil so it's still a little bit warm by the time I get out.
No, that sounds like a good plan. Yeah, I'm trying to do that too, boy.
But yeah, you know, standard things like crisps. To be fair, I'm not always the most healthiest, which is probably not good, but walking, eating crisps and stuff like that. But yeah, man, it's all right. I feel no way.
Yeah, no, listen, don't feel no way. Like, food's important.
Yeah.
We need it for fuel, isn't it? So,
true,
like,
true.
even like with the walks as well, especially, can get tiring, right? So
exactly. Like, I always say to people when they come out on a walk, bring snacks, bring water. You know, because like you said, you need fuel, you need water, especially if it's a really hot day, as it has been over the past few weeks. It's been so hot, so on some walks I've had to like be that school teacher and just remind people to drink water, because one, I don't want to be doing no first aid if I don't have to, but yeah, you don't want anyone like passing out or anything, so it's really important.